Hey, and welcome to EntrepreNINES. I'm John Wist.
And I'm Bonni Mace. We're two Enneagram 9s who took the big leap into the world of entrepreneurship at a similar time. And this podcast is a space where we are inviting you to laugh and learn with us as we work to build a business with soul. Today is our first interview.
Woohoo, first guest.
First interview. And for the very first interview, had to be another EntrepreNINE.
Yeah, of course.
So today with us, we have a friend and EntrepreNINE, Alane Pearce, who is a purpose coach. And I have worked with her. She's helped me launch and start Empathetic Enneagram and helped me to not feel like a crazy person several times, innumerable times. She's very good at what she does. And you can find her on her new website, AlanePearceCoaching.com. And welcome, Alane. Hi.
Thanks. Hi.
We're happy to have you.
I'm so excited to be here talking with you guys.
Yeah, this is fun. So a little more backstory, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Can I just do a little more backstory?
Yeah.
So we all three used to, we'll say work in ministry together because Alane practically worked for the church, but didn't get paid for it. So we've all known each other for a while. But Alane is now in Austin and we are in Maryland still. And so it's kind of fun that we get to hang out for a little while too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
great to reconnect.
Yes.
Collaborate a little together here and there, which is also fun.
Which this is going to come out after.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's going to live. So I'm just going to throw this out there. We're all three also going to be part of a webinar at the end of February, which again, like this will be coming out after that. But that content is completely free. And so we'll put a link to the recording in the show notes so everybody can see it. And that is all about having healthy success from your purpose, which is a good segue into talking to Alane about purpose. Right, Bonni?
Yes. Okay, Alane, now that we've botched a bit of your business pitch, tell us a little bit more in your own words about Alane Pearce Coaching. Tell us about your business.
Okay, I'd love to. So I love helping creatives, entrepreneurs, people who are maybe making a pivot in life. So starting something new, a new job or a new book or a new portion of a new segment of life. I love helping them get in touch with their created purpose, because I believe that when you know why you are on this earth, then you know what decisions to make. You know what keeps you healthy and what makes you not healthy. You know, when you know your purpose, you know what you're supposed to do. And so you can make that a priority in your life. So I like to help people find their purpose so they can create purpose-driven action plans to meet their goals.
That's awesome. So how do you define your own creative purpose if you're helping others find theirs? This wasn't on your question. I'm just coming out the gate with questions not on the list. Yeah.
Well, I was actually talking with someone about this yesterday, and my created purpose, your purpose comes out of, you get informed about your purpose through your life experiences, through your relationship with God, and through your personality. So my life experiences have been about being resilient and trusting God to help me through hard things. And so instead of creating a platform on, for example, just infertility or just loss or just some of these things that I've been through, I prayed a lot about what it is that I want people to get from my books, from my coaching, from just being around me. And what I want more than anything is for people to know and understand that God cares about what they're going through and that He wants to use those things for good, for the good of others, for the good of you. And so that's why I want to become a purpose coach, is because I wanted people to understand that everything that you've been through has prepared you for what you're doing now or next.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
That was great. Okay.
In a nutshell.
Yeah. In a nutshell, it was a good nutshell.
Right.
Impactful nutshell.
An impactful nutshell. John, do you have a question?
Well, I was going to say, so, we have talked about in the first couple of episodes about how this is a little bit about kind of just documenting our journey and allowing other people who are just starting businesses to, I guess, kind of commiserate and understand and learn.
Feel seen and not alone.
Yes, and learn alongside of us kind of what running a business looks like and what it feels like. And so I guess just for the people who are starting out, because you are not at the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey. So can you kind of tell us about how it got started and then kind of the path to where you are now?
This actually was fun to think about because I have been an entrepreneur since the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
As my son would say, back in the 1900s.
It's insulting for us too.
And yeah, for those of you who, but it was really hard. I became, when I first got married, I became a freelance writer in the early 90s. And it was very hard because we had basically telephone and FedEx mm-hmm. and Xerox machines. And we didn't have the internet. We didn't have mobile phones. We barely had computers. It was still, the black screen with the green letters mm-hmm. on it. It was very hard to be an entrepreneur. So it wasn't really working for me because we moved a lot. And so then I tried to do some ad sales. I really hated that. And then I did like a home business for 10 years. I was a Pampered Chef consultant and I really liked that. And that was kind of like being an entrepreneur, but I had a lot of support in, mm-hmm. What I was doing. Yeah. So the reason I became an entrepreneur is because as a military spouse, I felt like it was really hard to start over every mm-hmm. time we moved. Yeah. So instead of trying to create a career and then start over in 3 or 5 years and do something else in 3 or 5 years. Once we got the internet and once we got mobile phones, I decided I still really love writing and I love helping people. Mm-hmm. So in 2005, I started freelancing again. I wrote my own book and published it and a couple of others. And then people started learning that I knew how to publish books. And so I started helping people publish books and I helped people write newsletters and business plans and stuff like that. So my business has really morphed. It started out as freelance writing and then moved kind of into book publishing. Still get a few freelance writing gigs here and there. And then in October of just this last year, I had the opportunity to get certified as a life coach. And so I jumped on that and now kind of backing away from the design and publishing work of what I did mm-hmm. and into more helping people figure out what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. That's awesome.
So it's been a long story.
Yeah, you're so good at all of those things, though. I like hearing you recount it. That might be the first time I've heard you recount it in order.
Mm-hmm.
After knowing you.
Yeah, probably. It's a lot. I mean, to think about, I used to try to do this before the internet. It was crazy. It was so hard.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Well, and especially for the three of us who are service-based businesses, mm-hmm. Not have necessarily a physical thing mm-hmm. that you can put on a shelf at a store.
Right.
Like that's really hard to communicate that you're even doing it. Mm-hmm. When mm-hmm. there's no internet.
Like, honestly, at this point, I would not even know how to advertise without the internet. Like, what do you do? Do you go to Kinko's and make a flyer and just hang it up on a light pole and hope somebody needs an Enneagram coach? Like, that does seem very... Thank you, internet, for your support.
Right.
So Kinko's doesn't exist anymore.
In the 90s.
Kinko's is gone.
So really, even though I've been freelancing a long time and an entrepreneur for a long time, I feel like I'm also new because having this new facet of coaching is like starting over
mm-hmm.
again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And hey, you're good at that too. So
Oh, thanks.
Great new journey. Okay, so let's jump right into the 9 part of this. I already gave away your Enneagram type, but what's your Enneagram type?
I am a 9.
How long have you been knowing about Enneagram and 9-ness?
I think since I was working with you guys when I was, volunteering, doing writing for the church, working under you, Bonni, and the church did the Enneagram thing, and then you had us do it as your volunteers. And I thought it was very insightful. I really like that way of knowing who I am and why I do what I do.
It's fun. And fun fact, fun story. I had most of the volunteer creative team leaders do an Enneagram test at that time. And all but one person came back also as a 9. I don't know what that was about, but we were a great team.
Yeah. Probably not projection, right? Or was it?
I don't know what it was.
Well, I wouldn't have been a 9 at that point.
I think you were the only one that didn't come back as a 9.
I was a 5 at that point.
And now you are a 9.
Yeah.
But Alane and
it's a long story, Alane. I tested as a 5 the first time, but yeah, I feel like I then tested a second time as a 9, and after doing my own research on it, like feel much more comfortable and much more in line with 9. So
9.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's true of a lot of creatives.
Yeah.
That's
say
a good
more.
Question.
Well, I mean, I would think that as a creative, you really have to be in tune with I don't know, deep things, I think. And I think a 9 can tend to get deep.
Yeah.
That's true.
I don't know. It was just a thought. I didn't expect to expound on it.
It's good.
Okay.
I like it. I bet it.
You're the pro, so I would
for real.
like you to maybe expound on it.
I think there are a lot of creative 9s in the world, and I think that our artwork probably speaks to a lot of people because we can see from a lot of perspectives.
I was going to say, I wonder if it's the multi-perspective kind of thing where you can just see a different picture than what other people can see sometimes.
But probably the more acceptable, at least visual art, lots of 4s,
Yeah, true,
Yeah.
true.
Arts and musicians, because 4s are like the creative, number. But
that offended me at first, by the way.
What?
That
4s
were
get
called the creative.
They get to have that.
Yeah. But I'm okay with it now.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't own it completely. But they are very good at that. So anyway, back on track. Bringing it back around.
Yeah. So Alane, something that I am curious about is how do you think I guess what you've learned about being a 9 and kind of helping that kind of refine and define your personality a little bit better. Like, what are the things that you think are real strong suits for a 9 when it comes to business and being an entrepreneur? And what's some of the things that maybe you think are also some setbacks or some struggles that come from that?
Okay. As far as the positive side, especially in the coaching realm, I think showing up as non-judgmental and understanding really helps me and helps my clients. A lot of my clients say, I never feel like I'm being judged by you for feeling the way I do, but I feel like you understand me and you're helping me get to a point where I can be less confused about what's going on. So I think that has been the biggest help as far as the coaching and being a 9, and one of the positive attributes of being a 9. I think the hardest part of being a 9 is self-promotion.
Yeah.
Yes.
We all uncomfortably
100%.
laugh together.
Second and third,
I
that
think
one.
that putting yourself out there and saying, I am taking up this space and I know what I'm talking about, and maybe I know more than you. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
So I always felt like I never published or promoted really my publishing consulting that I did. God always gave me, great clients, but I never really promoted it because I never felt like I could compete with other social media or business tycoons. I thought, oh, I don't even know if I'm as good as them. So I was very, very shy about saying what I did, and basically just got work through referrals from friends, which is really how I like to get work anyway. But I think now that I have learned that I have something to offer the world, it's a little easier talking, especially about the coaching, because I've been so passionate about it. And I feel like I do have something to offer because I have a lot of understanding to share.
Yeah.
That's good.
And you're showing up and taking up digital space.
I am taking up some space.
Yeah. It's great. Also terrifying, but also great.
A little bit.
So terrifying.
I haven't done a lot of like stories and reels yet. That's my goal for next month. And that's like a real stretch goal for me. But,
yeah. The showing up with your face is even harder.
It's a little scarier. Yeah.
You're going to do great.
That is a frightening place to be. And I'm sure that more people struggle with it than we probably give credit to. But it just does come naturally to some people. And I think that as nines, our personalities though are naturally bent away from that. So it's tough.
I have always been a behind the scenes person. John, what hot tip do you have for Alane, who's going to be showing up on video?
I already told her
I'm going to put you on the spot now.
Her room looks great. Like her office looks great because there's so much natural light and it's right in front of you. And so I was saying, like, I already feel like that's a great first step because I'm in a closet. So I have to cloffice. So I have to light everything. But no, I mean, I think it's like light and sound are, two of the major components of video that people ignore or don't think about. And you've got great light. So that's huge.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hey, you're welcome. Just a little hot tip. Video hot tip.
So this is not only a podcast about entrepreneuring and personality knowing, but also like honoring your humanness and having a business with soul, which is something you and I have talked about some in my own, but I haven't gotten to hear this reflected back from you because of how our coaching relationship has mostly been you coaching me so far. So my question is, what are some ways that you honor your own self and how you run your business? Actually, you're one of my, like, I look up to you in the way that you honor your own capacity and humanness. And so thank you for teaching me so much in nuggets all the time, but I'm excited for this longer form answer.
Yeah. So I've never really thought about it too much, especially in the concept of honoring myself and balancing things. Most of what I've learned, I think, has been through trial and error and a lot of error and fixing that. So I think that one of the biggest ways that I honor my soul, and I've actually learned a lot from you, Bonni, regarding rhythms and boundaries and making sure that what is a priority to me happens and not letting things happen to me. So I thank you for that. You have been teaching me a lot as well. But I think the biggest thing that I did to honor myself and my stress and my work-life balance all together is setting office hours. Just saying, these are the hours that I have my hat on, whatever business I'm doing, if I'm writing or if I'm coaching. These are the hours that I have that hat on. And I actually had a friend call me when I was like in a writing mode. And she's like, I'd really love to talk to you more about coaching. I'm like, okay, I need to call you back tomorrow at this time because that's when I'm wearing my coaching hat. But I used to have clients that would like call and text and email at all hours of the night. and day and weekends. And at first I was like answering them all because I'm like, I'm providing customer service. I will answer this text that comes in at 10 o'clock at night, even though I would much rather be asleep.
Right.
And what I learned is that I was not providing customer service. I was teaching them how they could treat me. And by answering right away.
Dang, that's
so good. So I finally put a do not disturb. And when I work with clients, I'm like, you can contact me between 10 and 5. If you contact me before 10 in the morning, I probably haven't finished all my coffee, and so I won't have complete answers for you. And, you know, I'll be available till 4 or 5, but after that, you know, I can't. And then I stopped. Even emails that would come in after hours, I even stopped answering those. I just put them on my calendar for the next morning. And I think that's the biggest thing that has lowered my stress and honored myself and has allowed me to have a good balance of life and work, not working all the time.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, I feel like I hear people like preach at you as a trying to make a business person a lot. Like, you have to be on all the time or like your business isn't going to grow. And so if you're still doing this, my assumption is that has not been your experience, but I'd love to hear more about that from you.
Yeah, no, that has not been my experience. And frankly, I'm kind of tired of doing things the way people all say to do.
Yeah.
It might be my age. I don't know. But you know, for me, showing up on social media about 3 days a week feels right. That's what I'm going to do. I am pushing myself a little, like I said, to get some reels and some stories up, but that won't be every day either. And I also think that because who my target audience is, some of them are older people, and so they're not on social media altogether. But I just kind of finally had to come to terms with what I wanted. And this actually came out of my coaching training. It's like, you know, why do we make ourselves all slaves to the calendar and slaves to what everyone else is doing? Why can't we do things the way we want to? And then you see what works and see what doesn't work. And that's what I've started doing, especially since I did this coaching program. And I'm like, hey, I don't have to kick off the new year in January if I have COVID and I'm still sick. You know? I can do it in February or March because it's my terms.
I feel like one of the reasons I wanted to start my own business was so that I wasn't a slave any longer to a calendar or someone else's schedule. And, you know, like I just, you know, right off of what you said, Alane, like the beginning of the year, there were 3 snow days for schools.
It was so hard.
It was so hard. But at the same time, like I realized that week, I'm just not going to try to push myself to do too much. Like I have 3 kids that are at home and I need to concentrate on them, and they'll have a nap time or a rest time or a like quiet time that I can get a little bit done. But let me not like kill myself trying to do everything at one time. And I think that has been really freeing. And another thing that Bonni and I talked about in starting this podcast was there's so much about how to do things fast and earn a lot of money fast and grow your business fast and all that kind of stuff. And it does feel like, and that's why we wanted to put more emphasis on the soul, is like you kill your soul doing that. And so, you know, just to have those rhythms and those boundaries, I think is super important for you as a person, and then in extension, your business. So
here's the paradox of all of it, right? Because I still like that word a lot. The paradox of all of it, though, is when you honor your own humanness and your own limits and your own resources and things like that, that doesn't mean that you're not growing into like the next level. Like you were just saying, I'm going to start showing up on reels and on stories. So you still have these boundaries and like that are set that honor who you are and help you to stay filled up and healthy and enjoying what it is that you're doing. And here you are stepping into the next level of something uncomfortable. That doesn't mean like when you find like these boundaries and have space for yourself and honor your own humanness, that you don't grow into something new or next. So anyway, what a rich conversation.
I know. I wonder if people feel like that's settling, when you're saying, well, this is not what I want. I don't need to be, the number one click. I don't need 5 million followers.
Yeah.
Maybe people think that it's settling, but I don't think it is. I think you're right in that it's taking care of your soul, taking care of balance. And you use this word a lot in our coaching, as being authentic.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and it's a lot of it is the self-discovery part, which you were talking about too, with, even in your coaching training. Like, one of the most helpful things for me when I was first starting was I found a Facebook group that's been really helpful and really encouraging, of all different kinds of levels of video businesses. So, like, their point was like, determine what kind of business do you want? Do you want to hire a bunch of people and have it be a multi-million-dollar business? Or do you just want to like be able to provide for your family and it's just you forever? And, like, you get to make that determination. You get to decide, not somebody else. And so make it and then stick with it and, be committed to it. So,
and it's, all of that is soul honoring, because we all have different capacities and are called to make different size impacts on our little communities, but size does not indicate value.
No. And then we can choose where we want to grow.
Yeah.
What
absolutely.
feels more authentic to us.
Yeah.
For sure.
Thank you for that. That's really good. John, you got something to segue into?
I feel like we've hit a lot of the things that we had wanted to hit, but so I think, one of the things that we've talked about on a couple previous episodes is that the challenge is that we can be very confident in things that we are good at, and we can be, we can know that we're experts in those, but we have challenges in other areas. And so just like, what's one of the biggest challenges that you've overcome that you're really proud of yourself for getting beyond that?
I think feeling that what I have to offer is valid and needed by my valued audience. So that it's okay that I am not the best out there, but I'm the best for the people who need my services, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So feeling confident in that what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. That comes again down to purpose, that, I know that I've been given this mission, if you will, and I feel confident in it because I feel like all of my life experiences and the direction that I'm getting from God is where I'm supposed to be. So yeah, it's finally just feeling confident in what I do.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yay.
Yeah.
Virtual celebration across state lines.
Ready for everyone.
I love that. And I'm so happy for you for that, because I've seen you do so many great things and serve in so many amazing ways. And you've encouraged me for a lot of years. So it's great to see you stepping into that for whoever wants to reach out. Yeah. And have that gift, given to themselves, that they, that's the thing with coaching, is you pay for it and then you get a lot out of it, but people don't really gift you coaching. So you have to buy it. You have to gift it for yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
And it is self-care. I really believe that it's good self-care, because it's getting someone in your corner to help you achieve what you want to achieve.
That's good.
Yeah, that's so good. Okay. So really the last question we have that we prepped for you was, what is a piece of entrepreneurial advice that you should charge people for, but you're just going to keep giving it away for free? So like, don't give it away for free here on this podcast that you would normally charge for. But it just like flows out of you so naturally, and you just know it's so invaluable. So you just share it anyway.
I really have a hard time thinking of of that. Maybe from an outside perspective, you guys could tell me, but really, I think my issue, rather than I did have that for a long time in the beginning of my freelancing career. It's really hard to price things. It's really hard to put value on something that's not tangible, that's not, a product that you take home from the store. But I have finally kind of gotten over that, because I really need to make a living doing this,
Sure.
But I think my biggest issue, rather than giving things away, is just not charging enough. Feeling like, well, gosh, is $30 too much, when really $30 is barely 5% of what the value is that I'm giving. So I think that's more my my problem. And so the entrepreneurial advice would be, when you are pricing something, remember that you're not just giving the value of the time together right then, but you're giving your training and your equipment and all the other things that make up what you're providing.
Yeah.
And all of that needs to play into how you price what you are providing.
Yeah, that's good advice I need for sure.
And then sometimes you just have to take a deep breath and throw it out there and see if anyone bites.
Yeah.
Well, and something that because I spent a lot of time trying to figure this out before I started my business, because it's just hard. It's hard to know. And I think one of the things that I learned was, you can be the cheapest person, but that means that your clients are also going to consider you cheap, and they're going to consider what you deliver to them cheap. And so the value that they intrinsically have for what you've given them is so much less than it should be, because you've devalued yourself and what you do. And so just it's hard to throw a big number out there. It's hard to place a high value on yourself monetarily, like, to actually assign a monetary value to that. But in doing so, you communicate that you are worth it, and what you are going to deliver is also worth it. And then it's up to them. And I think, rejection's a thing, and it's going to happen. Right. But,
and it's not personal.
And it's not personal. Right. Yeah. It's often more financial than anything else. Right. They want to work with you probably, but maybe they can't afford it right now. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And it, you get a better audience that way too. Like you were saying about people that would hire you because you're cheap. That's probably not your ideal client. So that relationship isn't going to be the best.
Right. Yeah. That's good.
Thank you. Well, anything else, Miss Alane Pearce, that you feel like you have an audience in theory here? At least John and I are listening. What else? What else would you like to say, like, before we close out, or offer the world of people who are trying to build businesses with soul?
I would say, believe in what you're doing. If you have been passionate enough to start, to be interested in what you want to offer and to learn about it and to figure out a way to offer it to someone else, be passionate about it. It's probably what you're supposed to be doing. And if it isn't what you're supposed to be doing, it will lead you to what you're supposed to be doing. It will be information for you. Like if you get those rejections, or if you aren't getting business, that's just information. It's not personal. It is, it's a way for you to understand what you need to tweak or how you need to reposition. So go for it. Have passion and get a coach in your corner.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because they will ask you the kind of questions that will make you think and aspire to greater things than you ever thought you could.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. It's hard to do it alone.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Soul sucking. In fact, now it's soul. so opposite of what we're going for. Definitely soul building. Well, friend, thank you so much for being our very first guest. I feel like that's a great way to start interviews.
I'm quite honored.
Yay. I mean, we're having fun, I think, here. So you can find Alane on the internet.
At AlanePearceCoaching.com.
Yeah. Where else can we find you?
On the socials at Alane Pearce Coaching.
Yay.
Mostly Facebook and Instagram right now.
Sweet. Well, friend, have a great day. Enjoy your speckled dog and Texas, and we'll catch you later.